Hello, I'm Tone Lanzillo, and this is Climate-Duluth. Recently, a good friend of mine told me about a group of high school students here in Duluth that are advocating and working to get solar power in the local high schools and the school system. And I thought it'd be great to bring them into the studio, give you all a chance to meet them and find out more about what they're doing. So welcome, it's great to have you all here. Why don't we just start with introductions as far as name and what high school you're at?
Yeah, to start, it's great to be on. We're all so excited.
Yes, we are so excited.
I'm Zoe Pierson. I'm from Duluth East High School, and we are all part of the Climate Club.
Okay.
I'm Kate Yapel, and I'm also part of the Climate Club at Duluth East.
Yes, me too. I'm Amelia Gilbert.
Really? Nice to
And
meet
me
you.
as well. I'm Mauren Pierson.
Nice to
So
meet you
happy
all.
to be on here.
It's great to have you. Why don't we start, just tell us a little bit about how this project that you're working on started and kind of the status of the project at this point.
Okay, so we are a group that started way back in 2018, 6 years ago, in our 6th grade class. We decided, we're all super passionate about the environment and climate, so why don't we try to get solar panels on our school? And we are inspired by our 6th grade curriculum and our teacher, Ms. Jackson. And it seemed like a really far off issue.
Hydroelectric, solar, nuclear, and we thought, well, this would be the most attainable of the three that we learned about to actually pursue. And so it kind of started in that class, and then we all got super interested, and we were like, we should actually try to do this in our school.
Okay.
And so we first started with a very small 35 kW array, and we presented this case to our school board, along with the help of Minnesota Power and UMD. And they were interested, but it just didn't look feasible in terms of cost and what it would actually do for the district in terms of offsetting an energy amount, because it was like very, very small.
Okay.
And yeah, and then you want to
Yeah.
talk about
From there, because we didn't have these funding sources available to us, we were like, okay, how do we change this on a bigger level and get the funding opportunities that we need in order to do this project? So we lobbied some of our state legislators and about this grant called Solor-Schools grant. And that was successful. The grant got passed, and now it's available for schools all across the state,
Yeah.
which we are really excited about. Unfortunately, our club kind of lost momentum over the pandemic. I think that's probably not an uncommon
Yeah.
story. But this year, we restarted it. Do you want to talk about that, Amelia?
Yeah, so I'm actually from Texas, and I moved here as like a climate refugee kind of thing. So I was noticing like it was getting warmer in Texas, and there's more extreme weather. So I figured with my family, we were planning on moving, and we were looking at different places that would be viable. And so we moved up here, and I was lucky enough to meet these incredible people that help me to like further what we're doing here. And I saw I didn't see enough climate related things when I came here. I was like, okay, I know it's a climate refuge, but I think there could be more that we could do.
Okay.
And so these people, it's so incredible to work with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right, just earlier this year, we did not have any sort of green club or climate club at
Yeah.
our school.
Yeah.
So we figured, why not restart this up again? We have enough passionate people in our district. So, and when we first started, it was just our middle school. But we thought if we could get the entire district involved in this, we could get a lot more momentum and get more people involved and actually make this a feasible project. So in June, we went to the school board listening session, school board meeting.
That's what I heard about you.
Yeah.
Yes. So at the meeting, it was super cool. We
Yeah.
presented our idea to get a 1 megawatt solar array in the Lincoln Park Middle School green space,
Okay.
because the Solar-Schools grant money would fund half of it, and then the
And then,
IRA
yeah.
would continue to fund for it. So
Yes.
would you like to talk about that, Kate?
Yeah, it was a really amazing just experience to talk there, because we had supporters from Climate Corps, Minnesota Power, and Sierra Club wrote us a letter as well. And just a bunch of other groups came and really showed us why our case matters.
Okay.
And I think the district finally started to listen because of that. And we've had a meeting with them, and they've submitted the pre-application for the
Woohoo!
grant. Yeah, and so now it's up to see how much money we get, and just the array will go from there.
So the pre-application's gone in.
Mm-hmm.
You're waiting for the amount of money. What's the timetable? Have you all heard when you may get an update, or?
In the next 3 months, I think
Yeah.
we'll know and then be able to submit the full application
In November.
in November.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is so exciting, and we're so excited that, like, this was a project that was really led by us as students, but we're so excited that adults in our community and leaders in the school district and the school board are really stepping in to help and make sure that this project gets finished, because it's a lot more work than you would expect to try to get a solar array in the district. But because we have the support now and the circumstances are so perfect and the timing is amazing to get these solar panels in our district, we feel super fortunate that we have this support in
Yeah.
our town.
Yes, it's
We-
an incredible opportunity.
Yeah. We've been able to garner a lot of local media support. We got to
Yeah.
talk on the North Radio, which was really exciting, and we've been in a couple articles. So that's really cool.
We got a petition as well. We got over 400 signatures in 2 weeks to help support the solar panels. It was incredible community outreach.
The petition, where was that distributed to students, teachers, families, or?
Mostly students and like parents of students.
Wherever we could
Yeah.
spread it to.
Yeah.
Wherever we did it.
It was amazing to see the town step forward and see, like, we were so surprised how many signatures we were getting. It was, it really shows how much people actually care about this. Like, even though there wasn't a green club or anything at our school to start off, people in our town really care, and students really want this.
Yeah.
Right.
It was very prominent on the petition because you can leave little comments when you sign, and there's a lot of people who like kind of spoke to how much it would mean to them to see young people
Yeah.
have the opportunity to do something like this.
Okay. So I guess you're all now rising seniors then at Eastern?
Yes.
Okay. So when you look at the next year, besides this, what do you see you all being involved in your last year in high school? Anything in particular? Or?
Yeah, so there's a lack of recycling in our like cafeteria area, so that's one thing that we've kind of been looking at. There's been several other things like what was it, like planting trees. We're
Yeah.
thinking about doing some community stuff, like picking up trash maybe.
Yeah.
And hoping to get into some more activism and
Yeah.
advocacy
Yeah.
in our community, and maybe even in broader Minnesota communities. We just want to keep helping.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
focusing on more public transportation and just like greener practices in general
Okay.
in the state.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also making sure that we really collaborate with students from schools and ages all across the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Have to ask, being so young, and I always love to ask this of all the guests who come here, but for each of you, what or when did your interest in the environment or climate change begin? Was it this past year, or sometime in your lives where something memorable happened, or you were influenced by someone or something? Yeah.
Yeah, I can start. Back when I was really little, my parents took us to the planetarium, and I learned that our planet was heating up, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was probably 4. This blew my mind. I couldn't sleep for weeks and weeks. I had nightmares. So I guess like from then I really was like, this is something we gotta start working on. I guess I didn't have those words when I was really young, but also seeing other advocates like Greta Thunberg and all these amazing climate heroes, it's just been so inspiring.
Okay, cool.
And mine was actually, my friend gave me Greta Thunberg's book for my birthday, and then I read it, and I was like, oh my gosh. Similar, like, I was very anxious about everything she was saying, and my parents were kind of just like, Kate, like, well, you can't just be anxious, you could do something, and then they kind of just went from there. Like, I started to realize, like, people need to be the ones to do something. You can't wait, and that's why I decided to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to a very hippie school in Texas, and it was very focused on climate and sustainability. We had like a huge garden and everything. We never used air conditioning, even though it was in Texas, it was very hot. But yeah, so I sort of got exposed to it there, and I was really like demotivated about it. I had like a lot of dread about what could happen, but I went to a lectureship last year, I think. It's the Keenest lectureship, and it talked about like hope with climate change and how we have the power to affect change, and doing kind of what you can, I think really inspired me to continue on with it.
Cool.
Yeah. My parents, they loved to take us to nature. We were always going to the beach, we were hiking, and I think that from a young age really fostered a connection with nature for me. So when I learned about climate change through school and community leaders and Greta Thunberg and the news and the radio, I was like, this is something it sounds like such a big issue, but nature is something we can all connect to. So that's one of the things that really inspired me to take action, and think that if we can do little things to protect our environment, that's so good for our city and for the whole globe.
Right. I have to ask you all, I did get a chance to talk to a lot of high school students and college and young people, and often themes around climate anxiety come up. They're very anxious about their future, what their world will look like. What advice have you given yourself, or that you give your peers when you hear those kind of conversations?
I think it's better to live in a world that's just a couple degrees warmer than a world that's like catastrophic.
Okay.
And doing what we can to minimize like that catastrophic kind of effect can be really helpful in going forward.
Okay. How about the others?
I think if we look at it as something that we can do something about, because the way people talk about it, I mean, obviously is terrible and needs to be taken seriously, but at the same time, it feels so big that it feels like impossible to do anything about. But I want people to know that anything you do really helps, because other people will see that and feel inspired to do that themselves too. Yeah, I think it's a community effort.
Yeah, to go off that, with every piece of negative climate news, I think there's a positive climate news hidden in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And especially like where technological advances are getting so good that you just got to look for it, and there's positive stories out there. So I think that gives me hope.
Okay.
Right. Apathy is something that I see is a big problem among people our age, and having fear about whether or not you'll be able to go to college, or having children is a good idea as you grow into this world that has an ever-changing climate and growing natural disasters. But having this immense fear, of course it's reasonable, but if we're not hopeful, then all we're going to do is ruminate about the negative things and not focus on the little things that we can do.
Yeah, I appreciate the comments about hope. So what gives you, each of you, hope? Besides the things you've talked about, is you enter your senior year of high school and the projects you're working on. Yeah, what gives you hope, or what do you embrace to give yourself hope?
I have a little sister, and she is going into 8th grade next year, and she is just as passionate and like serious about this topic as I am, and just continuously seeing younger and younger kids get excited and like feel like they can do something, it's really important, and that gives me a lot of hope.
Cool.
Yeah. What gives me hope is like when I go outside and when like a park is filled with people or a beach is full. That's what gives me hope. It's really nice to see that people are taking advantage of what we do have.
Okay.
Instead of, like, I feel like our world has turned very digital recently.
Okay.
And it's really nice to see people appreciating it.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I think what gives me hope is the new technologies and people that are working to make those new technologies.
Yeah.
And seeing all that like unfold is very inspiring.
Okay.
Yeah, similar to what you said, Amelia, solar panels and renewable energies really give me a lot of hope, and to see people embracing them and using them, and seeing schools adopt solar panels as a way to show kids that we can take action and take concrete steps to battle climate change. That's what gives me a lot of hope.
For each of you, what or who inspires or motivates you to do what you do? Because I know myself, working on climate change in the environment can be challenging. Some days can be really hard and frustrating, but what gives each of you the motivation and inspires you to keep doing what you're doing?
I think I can speak for all of us when we say our leaders and teachers who have gotten us this far really, really inspire us. Like their willingness to show up and help us understand things and find people to talk to. It's Ms. Jackson and Ms. Nakbar have been really big supporters in our journey so far. And yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What's it about these two teachers? Don't want to embarrass them, but what is it about these two teachers that you either admire or that's been so helpful and supportive to you all?
I think they both just love to see kids interested in things.
Okay.
And I just feel like they have been so outstanding in their way to connect with us in this, because it feels like we really want to try, and I think they see that we really want to try, and that's why they're helping us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And these teachers have also stuck with us.
Yeah.
Like Ms. Jackson, she's been helping us since we were in sixth grade.
Oh, wow.
With this
She was our
project.
6th grade teacher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, she's really the person who really helped inspire us to get this project rolling and encouraged us to really act on this idea of getting solar panels. And Ms. Nakbar is awesome. She
And-
just helped us this year, and it's been
Yeah.
amazing to have her. She's so inspirational.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and they've both given up immense amount of times during their summer and their vacations
Yeah.
to help us work on this project. So we can't be more grateful to them
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Wow. Given that you're going to be seniors now and looking towards the future, given the experiences you had, is it going to affect what you may be doing after high school and you look toward your futures?
Yeah.
For each of you? Okay.
Mhm. I know that I'm very interested in something environmental,
Okay.
but I'm also interested in the social aspect of it. So I'm kind of thinking of some urban development that might focus on a more sustainable or environmentally friendly way. Yeah, I'm interested in that.
Maybe the city of Duluth will hire you.
Mhm.
And for the rest of you, what
Maybe.
kind of plans for the future?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go into biology, so similar field.
Biology, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
As a high school senior, my plans are always changing, but I'm hoping to major in environmental science or studies when I go to college and just do whatever I can, whatever I do to protect the environment my whole life.
Yeah, I don't have any concrete plans for my future yet, which I think is a-okay. And I know for sure I'm gonna keep up with my activism. That is something that is so important to me and my personality, so I won't let that go.
Okay. Now, you mentioned this club, the Climate Club. Is it right now primarily Eastern High School?
Yeah, I'd say it's mostly East students right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Denfeld also has their own climate club, I think they call it Eco Club
Yeah.
chapter.
Okay.
And we've really been able to like go on Google Meets with them during school and
Okay, cool.
try to work more closely together. Hopefully we can get even closer this year
Yeah.
and do some more joint projects.
I think too, it's been like many of the students working on the solar are like go to school in the east side of town, so that's kind of why it's been more of a divide. But I think as we move forward, we can connect more on like starting a new project with them.
Okay.
It's just been hard because it was like kind of all of us have known about this for 6 years,
Yeah.
and then like a week before the meeting, we were like, "Hey, want to come with us?" And they're like, "Sure." Yeah. But we're really hopeful we can meet them, because I just think that it's amazing how many kids are interested. You just don't really know till you reach out.
Yeah.
No, your story's impressive because when I mentioned a good friend told me about your story, this good friend was a photojournalist from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So, and she was in town preparing a climate story, so she was truly impressed when she went to the meeting that you all spoke at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were flabbergasted. Yeah, very shocked.
Yeah.
But she was so nice, and we got to take our pictures in the Lincoln green space where we want to put our solar panels, and it was
Yeah.
amazing.
Cool.
Yeah. Super cool.
Well, let me ask this. First of all, I'm happy you mentioned Greta, because Greta's one of the two reasons I actually got involved in writing about climate change and get involved in organizing. So impressed with her speeches and her writing. Let me ask this kind of closure. For each of you, for anybody out there, especially the young people in Duluth, what would be your message to them as far as how to approach climate change in the environment, how to get involved? Yeah, what would be kind of your short Greta speech to engage the other youth in our city to get involved?
Yeah, I think no matter where you are or where you end up or what you do, there are people who are interested in climate activism anywhere. And you really got to put yourself out there and it'll make a difference.
Okay.
I think just don't be afraid to try, because it is such a daunting thing, but the more people we really have moving forward in protecting our earth, the more sustainable our future will be.
Yeah.
I think it is truly a group effort. Not one person, not one politician can change this for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say just get involved with different groups and you can get inspired by your peers. Like, I've been so inspired by these people. And do your research, kind of know what's going on, but try not to bum yourself out too much. And focus on the small wins, I think.
Small ones, okay.
Yeah. Also, you don't have to be a Greta Thunberg to make impressive changes with climate and really inspire people around your community. It's all about the thousands of tiny little steps you can make throughout your life that make a big impact. And putting your voice out there is also really important, because if you speak up, that'll inspire others to do the same.
Got you. Well, I want to thank the four of you coming to the studios today and being part of Climate-Duluth. I look forward to following your story and hope in some small ways the adults in Duluth like myself can find ways to support your efforts and your projects in the future. So great being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank
you so much for
you.
having us.
You're
We're
welcome.
so excited about this project and so
Yeah.
excited to be able to share it.
Great. Well, thank everybody for Duluth for being here today for Climate Duluth series, and look forward to seeing you in the near future. Take care.